Hey there! In this video we are going to show you how to play Lusitania 21 by the publisher Pythagoras Games. It can be played by 2 to 4 players in about 20 minutes by players with at least 8 years old. We have the setup already prepared for 2 players, with all ready to start preparing your Roman armies. Each player is going to recruit for their own army, which can be led either by a commander or by Julius Caesar. Each player starts the game with their leader already in play, being the player holding Julius Caesar the first to play. Besides their leader, each player starts the game holding 3 random cards from the deck, which can be soldiers, equipment, or visitor cards. During the game, the players are going to add those soldiers, equipment, and visitor cards to their army, having a total limit of 9 cards in play. The game ends as soon as one player reaches 21 points, represented by these green symbols, then proceeding to the final scoring. On the center of the table is also depicted the common training field, which we are going to describe shortly. By the end of the video, we are going to mention the abilities on all visitor cards, as well as how to play the 2 expansions included on the game box. On your turn, you can perform one of 3 possible actions. Trade a card from your hand with one from the training field. Improve your army by recruiting a soldier, obtaining equipment, or recruiting a visitor, or dismiss a card from your army, which will grant you negative points. In addition to your main action, you can perform one free action per turn that allows you to activate a card in your army. This can be performed either before or after your main action. To trade a card, you select one of the available cards in the training field to your hand, then returning another card from your hand to the training field. This way, you always start and end your turn with exactly 3 cards at hand. The card next to the training field is a reminder that when there are 3 cards of the same equipment or 3 soldiers with the same banner color, all 3 are discarded and 3 new cards are revealed from the draw deck. To dismiss a card, you select one of the cards from your hand and turn it face down on the side of your play area. Each card face down is identified by a musician and will grant you half a negative point by the end of the game, represented by this red symbol. The last action you need to consider is how to improve your army. You select one of the cards from your hand to play directly into your army, then drawing a new card from the deck to your hand. As mentioned before, you have a total limit of 9 cards in your army, going from position 0 to position 8. And, depending on the card, there are different places where you can put it. You can either recruit a soldier, obtain equipment, or recruit a visitor. Visitors are identified by their ability on top of the card, and they are only allowed on the first and last positions of your army, provided that the space is empty. You start the game with a commander or Julius Caesar on what is referred as position 0, but they can be removed during the game so that the visitor can take place in a later turn. Soldiers are identified by a colored banner on the bottom left corner of the card, and they are only allowed on the space depicted on the card, going from 1 to 7. The first legionary you add into your army determines your province: red, green, blue, or yellow. From that moment on, you cannot add soldiers from different provinces to your army, and your opponents cannot add soldiers from your province to their armies. In addition to the legionaries of your province, you can also add 2 mercenaries in white, 1 cook in black, and 1 gunner, also in black, to your army. The last aspect you need to consider is that each soldier can only be played on the depicted number on their banner, so you cannot repeat numbers on your army. Equipment can only be played attached to an existing soldier, provided that the soldier who you want to equip can accept that type of equipment. The equipment accepted is depicted on each soldier card and cannot be added in exceeding quantities. In addition to your main action, you can perform one free action per turn that allows you to activate a card in your army. This can be performed either before or after your main action. To activate a card, perform the benefit provided by the card, then discarding it to the discard pile next to the draw deck, when required. Soldiers do not have any ability to perform, therefore, they can never be removed from your army after being played. The game ends as soon as one player reaches 21 points, then proceeding to the final scoring. To the total amount of victory points depicted on each player army, each player subtracts half a negative point for each card dismissed during the game, as in each card face down identified by a musician. Then, the player with the most victory points is the winner. Now that you already know how to play the base game, we are going to show you all the visitor card effects and how to play both expansions. Julius Caesar allows you to replace all cards on the training field for new ones from the draw deck. Then you pass it in clockwise order, going on until one player can place it on one of the extremities of their army. You cannot discard this card. The commander allows you to discard any amount of cards from your hand to the discard pile and replace them with new ones from the draw deck. Then you discard this card. The auxilia can be shifted to any soldier space in your army, always granting you 1 point at the end of the game. You cannot discard this card. The senator allows you to take one card from each of your opponent's hands, immediately giving them one card back from those already on your hand. Then you discard this card. The inspector allows you to trade one card from your hand with one card from your dismissed pile. Then you discard this card. The doctor allows you to send one or two of your dismissed cards to the common discard pile. Then you discard this card. Cleopatra allows you to send one of your opponent's equipment cards to the common discard pile. Then you discard this card. The Laurus Expansion provides objectives to the game that reward you with victory points. In case you want to play with the Laurus Expansion, reveal at the beginning of the game one more card than the number of players. The first player to fulfill the objective depicted takes that card to their play area and immediately owns one extra point, counting towards the 21 points necessary to win the game. Have a boulder, a horse, and a bow and arrow among the equipped soldiers. Have 4 different equipment cards among the equipped soldiers. Have soldiers or auxilia on the spaces from 5 to 7. Have 2 pairs of similar equipment cards among the equipped soldiers. Have soldiers or auxilia on the spaces from 1 to 4. The Virtus expansion provides objectives to the game that reward you with special abilities. In case you want to play with the Virtus expansion, reveal at the beginning of the game one more card than the number of players. Have a boulder, an axe, and a horse among the equipped soldiers. You attach this card to an already equipped soldier, and it allows you to add another similar equipment to that same soldier. Have a sword, an axe, and a bow and arrow among the equipped soldiers. For the rest of the game, when dismissing cards, you can dismiss 2 at a time. Have a sword, a spear, and a shield among the equipped soldiers. During this game, you can recruit a 3rd mercenary in white. Have 3 cards with sequential numbers in the army. For the rest of the game, when trading cards, you can trade 2 at a time. Have a cook and a gunner with their needed equipment in the army. You attach this card to an already equipped soldier, and it allows you to add 2 additional equipment to that same soldier, provided they are different from those already required. You can play with both expansions at the same time, shuffling all the 10 cards together and revealing at the beginning of the game one more card than the number of players. And that is all you need to know to play Lusitania 21 and both expansions. A special thanks to Pythagoras Games for sponsoring this video with a copy of the game. In case you own the previous edition of Lusitania, you can also watch our previous video to see the difference of gameplay. If you'd like to see more content like this, let us know in the comments. Until then, stay connected and be safe. See you soon!